Another update in this whole Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni situation. This one involves Jed Wallace, whose agency Street Relations Incorporated did crisis PR for the Wayfarer parties. He's accused of being like the orchestrator of this crazy shadow smear campaign, delusional fan fiction. He was recently dismissed from the case, but without prejudice, so Blake Lively filed a second amended complaint. He filed a motion to dismiss that second amended complaint. She, of course, opposed that, and now we have his reply in support of his—
Batman, holy litigation privilege. Blake Lively just got absolutely roasted by a crisis PR firm's legal team. And honestly, I'm here for it. If you thought celebrity lawsuits couldn't get more petty, wait until you hear about the Blue Jean Baby mystery that is Blake's legal team scrambling like they're trying to solve a Taylor Swift Easter egg. However, here's the kicker. This is no longer merely a matter of bad press or hurt feelings. We're talking about jurisdiction shopping, failed conspiracy theories, and legal arguments. So thin they make tissue paper look bulletproof. Before we dive into this legal dumpster fire, smash that like button and hit subscribe because trust me, you're going to want to follow every twist in this Hollywood legal circus. And stick around until the end. I've got some thoughts on why this case might be dead in the water. Let me give you an idea of what's going on here. Blake Lively is suing Jed Wallace and Street Relations, his company, for what she claims is a shadow smear campaign. Think of it like this. Blake asserts that Jed planned some kind of PR nightmare behind the scenes to ruin her reputation. However, this is where it gets spicy. The most vicious motion to dismiss I've read in months was just filed by Jed Wallace's legal team. They are correct when they say that Blake's entire case is built on legal quicksand. Blake's main problem is that she can't decide which court should even hear her case. She's been jurisdiction shopping harder than someone trying to find the perfect Black Friday deal.
Seasons, Blake Lively's efforts to retain jurisdiction over Jed Wallace and Street Relations are ever-changing, from a conspiracy-based theory of jurisdiction, asserted in the spring but rejected in the summer, to now in the fall, a novel theory that Lively had not raised in her prior complaint, but which is now the primary focus of her argument, specifically that Section 302A1 of the New York long-arm statute confers jurisdiction. This change is likely explained by Lively's inability to overcome her pleadings and sworn testimony. Two claims against the Wallace defendants sound in defamation, and thus the conspiracy theory of jurisdiction found in Sections 302A2 and A3 is inapplicable.
In the spring, she first tried a conspiracy theory, but it didn't work. Then she pivoted to a completely different legal approach in the fall. When I looked at this filing, what jumped out immediately was this line. Like the seasons, Blake Lively's efforts to retain jurisdiction over Jed Wallace are ever-changing. That's not just legal writing. That's literary shade with a law degree. Here's the fundamental problem Blake faces. Her claims appear to be defamation, but there is a defamation exception in New York that prevents out-of-state defendants like Jed Wallace from appearing in New York courts for these types of cases. Consider it in this way. If I'm in Texas and I say something mean about you that hurts your reputation in New York, you can't necessarily drag me to New York court just because that's where you live.
Paragraph attempt in a 31-page brief to overcome the defamation exception is hardly a response at all. The colors in autumn are so bright just before they lose it all. And the change of seasons has not cured the novelty or inapplicability of her A1 argument. A defamation claim is defined in terms of damage to reputation. Thus, New York law considers claims sounding in tort to be defamation claims, where those claims seek damages for injury to reputation, or where the entire injury complained of by plaintiff flows from the effect on her.
The law says, nice try, but file where the defendant is. Blake's response to this. She says that her claims don't really amount to defamation. She says they're false-like claims and something called FBA claims. However, here's the issue. When you read her actual allegations, they all concern harm to her reputation. She literally claims that the campaign damaged her reputation. It's like trying to call a duck a swan. You can change the label, but we all know what we're looking at. What do you think about this legal strategy? Is Blake being too clever for herself? Or are these just desperate strategies for litigation?
These are precisely the claims Lively alleges here. Specifically, Lively's claims against the Wallace defendants are founded on her assertion that they engaged in a retaliation campaign that created, seeded, manipulated, and advanced disparaging content about her. This alleged campaign, Lively asserts, caused devastation to her reputation.
Drop your thoughts in the comments. So, Wallace' team isn't buying it for a second. They point out that Blake's own lawsuit says the defendants participated in a campaign to discredit and bury her reputationally. Those are her words, not theirs. Now Blake's trying a completely different approach. She's arguing that New York can claim jurisdiction because the alleged co-conspirators did business in New York. But this is where her case really falls apart. She's claiming that when Justin Baldoni and others came to New York for press events and the movie premiere, that somehow gives New York courts power over Jed Wallace in Texas.
Further, Lively specifically alleges in her false light and FEHA claims that the Wallace defendants participated in a campaign to discredit and bury her reputationally and publicly made false and misleading disclosures that harmed her reputation. Even Lively's general allegations regarding the actions of the unspecified defendants show that she seeks to redress alleged reputational harm caused by false statements.